Okay guys, so I'll be going through the secret rare cards from Ultra Mission 5. So we actually have 4 cards this time, which is quite nice. So the first one is a new change switch card. So this is Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo. So it's pretty similar to the others in terms of the kind of card art. But I do quite like the kind of, back-to-back here. It was pretty cool, really cool. Yeah, great stuff on the card. So they're both Berserkers. And Gohan's attack is the kick he uses against Cell Max in the movie. So pretty cool to see it in the game. And his main ability. So when he attacks each round, he can't be stunned, but he also can't join in any group attacks. So very similar to like a Broly or kind of Kumba type ability. And also, for every enemy supporter that round, his damage will increase by 2,500. So, for example, with 4 enemy supporters, that's plus 10,000 damage, so that's pretty good. And also, when he attacks, if the enemy that he's attacking has 30% or more damage resistance, he does actually 5 times damage during that attack, so pretty good. But yeah, I think the Piccolo is better, definitely, but he's still pretty good. So for the Piccolo, actually, I guess the guy behind uploading it made a mistake because his information is missing. It's kind of weird, but so the HP is the same, but Gohan's power is slightly higher because Piccolo's is only 7,000, but Piccolo's guard is higher at 3,500. So I guess Piccolo is slightly more defensive, I guess. But both of their powers are quite high because they're both berserkers, right? But yeah. And Piccolo's ability. So first of all, when he attacks, for every enemy attacker, your team's power level will increase by 1,500. So if they have 7 enemy attackers, that's plus 10,500 power level for your team. So that's pretty good. And you can also gain hero energy from it, which is also a really nice bonus. And also when he attacks, him and any guys attacking with him, first of all, they will regain 1 bar of ki, so basically 25% stamina. They'll recover that, and also their power and power levels will double, and that's a permanent boost, and it can happen every round. So he's actually really good. Like Gohan's not bad, the Piccolo is just honestly way better. I think because obviously you can switch between them, so I think like use Piccolo most of the time, and then maybe depending on the situation, like if they have like heaps of supporters, maybe go to Gohan, but Piccolo is kind of like the main one to use, I'd say. But yeah, very cool, really good stuff. Okay, so this is the second secret card for this mission. This is Ios in her new form, the Power of Time Unleashed form. See, pretty cool art. She's hero type, HP is pretty good. Only 4 energy for a super attack is pretty good. She's got a ultimate lock on burst, and her extra effect is that depending on how little ki the enemy has, now she'll do more damage. I think if the enemy has like no ki at all, then she'll do I think 4 times damage. And combine that with the burst, that's almost 6 times damage for that one attack. So potentially she can do a ton of damage, which is pretty good. And for her main ability, so first of all, she before you make your move each round, she'll lower the enemy's ki by a tiny amount, which is quite a weak effect. The second part is much better, but it does have 2 requirements. The first one is that the enemy has to have at least 5 members on their team, and Ios has to have her super attack available. So for the members part, obviously in like online battles and stuff, they're always going to have 7 guys. That's kind of irrelevant. It's mainly for a super attack that is kind of you need to have need to keep an eye on, I guess. But only 4 energy is quite low, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem either. And once those 2 conditions are met, then when she attacks, she'll nullify the abilities of the enemies during her attack. So it's quite good to get around like defensive abilities that can, for example, lower your power or increase their guard. But if, including herself, there's only 3 attackers on her team, then instead of just being for her attack, it'll be for the entire round, right? The rest of that round. So that's pretty damn good, Especially if you can go first with only 3 attackers. Then, the enemy can't use any card or touch action abilities for one thing. Yeah, that's actually really strong. But I think it is quite balanced in terms of power because the effect, especially the boosted effect, is really strong. But again, with only 3 attackers, that's quite hard to use well, I'd say. So, it's quite a tricky card because it's not easy to use. But I think once you do like use it well, you can use it pretty strong, right? So it's actually quite devastating. But compared to like the original iOS card, which is still probably the strongest card in the game, she doesn't seem anywhere near as kind of like busted, but still quite strong. And she is the most expensive card in the set by quite a bit. At least in terms of like the standard cards, right? Okay, so next up we have Vegito. So this is the Super Saiyan Vegito from when he fought Super Buu in the Buu Saga. So we actually had a Vegito last mission, which is the Blue Vegito against Samas. This is I guess the Dragon Ball Z version, I guess, which is pretty cool. Getting two Vegetos back to back. The only disappointing thing is that his card art is very, very, very similar to this UR card from Big Bad Mission 6 right here. And I mean, they're almost exactly the same, man. Like, look at this, you know? Like, they're completely different cards, different abilities, but they look very, very similar, you know? Like, this one's more golden and this one's more kind of silvery, but, like, on first glance, I think this was the old one, right? So, it's kind of lazy. I think they could have used, like, any other card art, but that aside is quite a cool card, I think, but that's quite, still kind of disappointing. But anyways, he's an elite type, and he has the Spirit Sword as his super attack for 6 energy, and once he transforms into Super Saiyan, it becomes the Ultra Spirit Sword. It's like a more powerful version, I guess, right? So she has a new card action ability. This is the Awakened Saiyan Burst, and it's basically a transformation, a free attack, and then a burst all in one. It's pretty cool. So he starts off in base form, of course, and on the second round he can transform into Super Saiyan. And once he transforms, his power and guard will be increased by 2.5 times, and you'll also gain 3 hero energy for your team. And then he'll do the free attack with the Ultra Spirit Sword, and during that attack, he'll do an extra 2.5 times damage, which is pretty good. And after that, he can do a burst. So lots of cool stuff here. It's pretty strong, right? And his main ability is it's good, but it's a bit of a drawback because he can't even use his main ability until he is transformed. So on the first round, he can't do either of these, right? So that's quite a big negative for him. I guess he has to wait quite a while to become really useful. But his main ability, so once he is transformed though, and when he attacks, all the enemies in the group he's attacking will have their power and guard lowered by 5,000, which is pretty good. And if he activates his Ultra Spirit Sword when attacking, all those enemies will also have their damage that they receive increased by 50%. So that's pretty good. But I do think he's the weakest of these 4, and he's by far the cheapest. So that kind of shows it, I guess. Yeah, but still a good card. Like, he's not bad, but not amazing. Kind of middle of the road, but still good. Okay, so that's it for the main 3. Now we have the Anniversary Secret card. This is Kid Goku. So it's got a brand new HD model, which is quite nice. So actually quite a similar design to last year's Anniversary card. So yeah, pretty cool. Even Ryan the Dragon, which is the same. And like the last year's one, this has a parallel version, which is basically like an alternate art for the card. Very rare and very expensive as well. Yeah, crazy prices for this guy. But in terms of abilities and stuff is the same, so what they do in the game doesn't change, just the rarity, I guess, and the card art. So he's a hero type. HP is pretty good. Only 5 energy is quite low again for his super attack. Then he has Shinron for his touch action ability. So with this, you can either heal yourself, heal your team, or regain ki back for your guys. And his extra effect is that all your team's damage that they receive is cut in half. So basically, after you use this, for the rest of the battle, your whole team will take half the normal damage, which is insanely strong. I mean, on the second round, of course, is when it activates. So if you can go first on the second round, that's basically only the first round that you take, I guess, the full damage. Because after that, you'll take only half damage. That's really, really strong, That's really good. And his main ability, so when he attacks, so for him and every guy attacking with him, he'll get an extra 1,000 damage. So if he's attacking by himself, 1,000 damage. But if he's attacking and he's got like 6 other hero types with him, so 7 guys total, that's plus 7,000 damage. That's really, really good. And it's quite easy to use, man. All you have is more hero types to take him with him. That's quite easy, to make it stronger. That's really good. And for the second part of his ability, when his group gets attacked, all those members will recover half their ki. So with 2 attacks against his group, that's back to full ki. So that's really good, kind of like his ability is kind of like, well, the name of the ability is Legend of Goku's Beginning. So kind of like, I guess, like all those kind of friends he gets on his journey. It's kind of like that kind of theme. So like the more guys you have with him, the more, I guess, use you'll get out of this ability. So yeah, pretty strong. I'd say it's probably the same with this round. It's probably him and the Switch Gohan Piccolo are quite similar in terms of, well, not what they do, but quite, they're both quite equally strong, I'd say, But I think he is a bit slightly more expensive than the Switch card, but not by much though. So yeah, that's it from these for this video. So yeah, so pretty cool cards all around. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.